Hey guys, it's Lyrat, and today we're continuing the conversation about the lightsaber combat project that we're having here. My apologies that I was absent from YouTube for I think a month or even more. I've been doing some high schedule work and actually I've been streaming some programming on my Twitch channel, and I decided to not stream here because this is more like game development thing and my streams were more about functional programming. But if you guys are interested, I will put my Twitch link in the description. Alright, so before we go into stuff like ray tracing, the collision for the sword and for the lightsaber and everything, there's one more thing that I wanted to kind of like quality of life style thing which I wanted to address, which is if we stay here from our previous tutorials, of course we get the kind of turning off lightsaber, but the stance is still fighting stance, and it's a kind of small fix that you can like make even more nice if you have animations of taking the lightsaber off and or out and then just sheathing it back. Now I don't have those because in this pack, let me quickly show you. So I go to this Sword and Shield Anim Set Pro that I have, and if I go equip, I have this nice equip animation. Let me bring up here. Oops, that's a bug. Okay, so you can see he takes the sword out. Now it would kind of look silly with lightsaber. I could still use it, but the problem is we don't have the animation back. So taking it, you know, holstering it, I think that's the right word. What we could do, of course, is we could just reverse the animation play rate, but for now let's settle for something easier, for an easier solution for this. Alright, so let's go ahead and check out our animation blueprint. And I'm gonna move it back here once again. And you can see there's not much stuff going on. Now I want to take one more variable out of third-person character to check if we are fighting with lightsaber currently, or is it switched off. And I would use this variable here in this logic, and the reason why I'm taking it off and storing it here is because we want to have this I think it's like multi-core animation blueprint optimization. Whereas if you take this thing and go to animation graph and check stuff here, like you would address your character and take some variable out of here, this would not be performance optimized, and the game would actually give you a warning about this. So what you want to do is you want, whenever this thing updates, you want to read this variable out of here. Now we don't have this variable, so let's go and make it. And let's see, we have the lightsaber. And where is our blueprint? So let's go for the character blueprint. I think that's the one, right? Okay, so we have a bunch of stuff here, and we have our lightsaber, and we have a get lightsaber function, so it's safe to store this thing right here. Okay, so turn off is what switches the lightsaber off. So it makes sense that we just have this new variable here, and let's call it is turned on, right? So whenever something calls turn on, we go right here and set it to on, and here it will be off or false. So it's a Boolean variable which we just have here, right? Alright, so now we don't have to change anything here because we can just get lightsaber through straight from our animation blueprint. Just like I said, we go here, we get lightsaber, and we do is on, is turned on, yeah. And again, for optimization purposes, I store this again as extra state in the animation blueprint. So I say is turned on. Or actually here, it's not as clear as it is in lightsaber, of course, blueprint, so it makes sense that I call it something more recognizable, which is lightsaber turned on. Because remember, this is animation blueprint for the whole character, so it makes sense that we kind of store this information in a clear fashion. So now, what do we do with it? Well, let's kind of look at animation that we have. We need to find actual turned off animation, right? So if I look for idle, usually in any anim packs, if you have idle, idle usually means that, you know, he just stands there and breathes, right? The only idle I have here is this kind of the idle that we're using now, which is he has his lightsaber in his hand. And there are two versions, because one is for root motion and one is for in place. We don't want this. So what we want is we want to go somewhere else. Actually, we can just go to content and it will show all of our animations in the project which have idle in their name, and we are interested in this guy. Now this guy, if I open it, it's bound to standard epic skeleton. And as you can see, I'm not seeing all the other animations I had from SNS pack, because this is different skeleton. And it's not a problem if the skeletons are similar or nearly the same. So you can just, usually if they are the same, that's not a problem. You can just go ahead and map this guy, like duplicate its animation and make its copy with the new skeleton. So right click, retarget anim asset, duplicate anim asset and retarget. So it basically allows you to take another skeleton in this window, and it has this flag show only compatible skeletons. Sometimes it's okay even if the game thinks or Unreal thinks it's not compatible. So you can see I have a skeleton where I have all my animations. It's game SNS anim set pro UE mannequin mesh, right? That's the skeleton, and it kind of shows they're different, but let's see if it works. And remember the folder here, you have to change it for something that, you know, you can find later on, like core animation, retarget, and it shows you the new guy, right? So now you can see we have idle animation. He kind of like penetrates his own leg with it, but it's fine because we have lightsaber, right? When it's off, it's not going to penetrate the leg. So let's quickly try if this stuff works. And what I mean by that is, let's go here, and we have this final animation pose, and it switches by boolean, and boolean is stand still attack. Now, the simplest way to kind of check how our new thing works, how our switched on off check works, is let's take another blend pose by bool. Let's see. I think I copy pasted it, but it went somewhere, I don't know. So let's do blend poses by bool, right? And what I want to do, as you might have guessed, is whenever it's on, I go to this guy. Now when it's off, let's find this new animation that we made. No, I think I used this guy. Third person, I think, let's see if we can carry this guy. Where was it? Here. Yep, we can. So when it's false, we just play idle. Now you can probably already guess what will be the problem with this approach. So let's try it. Again, what happens is it switches by bool. When the lightsaber is on, it uses this whole thing that we made for it. And when it's off, it just says, okay, you know what, play third person idle. Actually, oh, okay, let's see what happens here. Let's click play. And so you see we have idle. Now here, look, he has this nice animation like he's in fight, and then it just disappears, right? Kind of nice. The problem with this is, of course, when he moves, it doesn't work. Because instead of using blend space for movement, we say that whenever the lightsaber is off right here, we just play the idle animation. We're not even asking him, you know, are you moving or not? So let's try to make it smarter without doing too much extra work and make an extra blend space. Cut this whole thing. And then let's see what we do here. Standing still attack. Now, if it's a standing still attack, kind of makes sense that we're not moving, right? If it's a standing still attack, we're not doing movement, because if we are doing movement, then we would be going here and we would be blending between legs and the actual attack animation, as you remember from previous tutorials. So go ahead and say, let's see. If it's true, if it's a standing still guy, and then if the lightsaber is on, we do this thing. If it's off, we do our idle. And we have a new window here, okay. Yeah, I think this works. No, it doesn't. Let's see why. Well, actually, it's supposed to be doing what we want, right? Let's make this guy one smaller. Oops. Actually, yeah, I know what's the problem. The problem is we're using preview. Remember, guys, we can it will be on default here on the preview instance, and you want to select the one which is spawned in the world. Okay, so the only way where this will be working is this way, of course. Well, there is other way to do this thing, of course. So, actually, yeah, I can tell you one way to do it without getting doing too much extra code. So we have this walk right and walk forward value. Now, when they are not 0, it makes sense that you're moving. Let's see if we can just say that Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V equals 0. I think the game will complain that I'm doing extra blueprint computations in animation blueprint, but you know, whatever for now. So if both of these guys are 0, and the handy thing about this end nodes is you can make several inputs here, not just 2. You go like that. So we're not walking right or left, not forward or back, and lightsaber is on. Then we're doing this thing. Well, actually, it's the opposite, I think. Right? We wanna play any motion if any of these guys is not equal 0. So not equal 0, and so this is not equal 0, right? So or is fine here. I think I know what's the next. No, actually, let's see. Okay, we totally messed it up. Yeah, that's really weird. So okay, something in my logic here, so let's quickly analyze this. When are we going to clearly stay in one place? In this scenario, right? So what is this scenario? Well, this scenario is actually, so this either this, let's see, let's make it just so, and let's talk quickly about it if it works. Yeah, it works. It kind of blasts through us, through our leg, because we're not switching off the ribbon in a proper place. You can look up your code and see what you can do. Okay, so again, we stop and he just relaxes. Now, of course, we might not like how he relaxes. His the speed with which he just turns like this. So I think it's called the false blend thing. Let's make it 1 second, which will be the blend between true and false. Maybe it's the opposite. Let's see if it's the opposite. Okay, that's if it's blending, it's blending for like a really long time. So let's keep it like that. So I don't know, you can play with these values. I've not used this. I'm not used to changing these values before, so I may not have kind of understanding how they work. But maybe, yeah, something like 0.25 works fine. Okay, so what we did basically, we kind of served extra logic to our animation blueprint through the lightsaber, or through our person character blueprints, and from the lightsaber. And now lightsaber has a kind of state. It knows if it's on or off. And you didn't have to do it with Boolean. That's just the easiest way. You could just, you know, check the blade size, for example, or whatever. But this is clear when someone reads your code. So in this video, basically, we covered how to make sure that your animation is more interactive with what happens in your game. And you can use this to all sorts of, you know, kind of to achieve all sorts of effects. For example, you could say that, you know, after this, we're gonna play animation of him putting the lightsaber back, and then he straightens up, and you have transition animations in different weapon packs, like the one that I showed you, but like equip and stuff like that, which you can use and just, you know, have a really smooth and complex animation system. So thank you for watching. Next time we will be touching the ray casting and ray tracing, if these are the right, or yeah, basically we will be talking about how are we gonna cut through walls, at least visually, and maybe even cut through different enemies. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.